Penalty on the phone. 15 yards for faking the funk.
Man, why you throw the flag?
15 yards for faking the funk.
See what?
It's the funk. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants.
You better sleep your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better sleep your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone.
There's a penalty if you don't shake that ass.
We're gonna put you on blast, brother, and if you don't shake that ass,
There's a penalty on the funk if you don't shake that rump.
causing the earth to shake, rattle, and roll to the sound of the nappy bump.
There's a penalty.
You know we gotta step on the gas. And if you can't get with this beat, I'm gonna put you on blast. And if you can't get with this beat, I'm gonna put you on blast.
Yo, what's this funk Chromacon thing you talking about? I don't know, man. That's a whole other thing.
Everybody in the house say yeah.
It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants.
You better sleep your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better sleep your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone.
We're coming from the nappy land. Flag on the funk is not the plan. So let us play it loud for the new funk radio crowd. Stop throwing the flag on the funk and let me shake my rump. Squeeze me, tease me, and never let me go. I'm throwing the flag on the funk. That's a nappy funk coming show.
We ain't never gonna stop. 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 You better sleep your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better sleep your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone.
It's the funk. It's the funk.
Well, it's the funk Chromacon variant, y'all. We in it. I told you. So check this out. Welcome to Funk from the Front Seat, live 9 on the Grind TV. Today, my producer, Mr. Mark Lee, and I have a very, very special guest. As always, our funk sister. Always been down with Linda Shider, and she's the matriarch, and all the Shiders, and Gary, of course. So we're going to dig deep into some things. So y'all just sit back, relax, and prepare yourselves. And remember, these are our opinions and not of StreamYard, not of YouTube, not of Facebook, not of Twitter, not of TikTok or X or any other platforms that we are on. We appreciate you guys. Stay active in the comment lines. I know a lot of you guys said y'all tuning in, enjoyed the Funk of Vinci. I know Mama Sandy, and I got all these emails and texts and tweets, about this particular show. Linda and I have been planning this show for a minute. So, we're really going to dive deep into the game. And we all know what this music game is about. And Linda Shider is P-Funk royalty. Make no mistake about it. So we're gonna start at the top and then work our way down the list of things and subjects and try to spread peace, love, and harmony to everybody out there. Once again, if you have an anniversary, we love you. If you had a transition in your family, we love you. Happy birthday to my dog, Philly, Kevin. I love you, bro. And a few other birthdays that maybe I missed. Sheila Barstow, my big sister. I'm proud of what you're doing on Broadway. I love you for that. And everybody else, happy birthday to you, man. It's funny because backstage, I was telling Mark a story that Linda beamed in, and we was like, I was telling Mark about this badass song called, The Funk Done Gone Hip Hop, and I was singing it, and then I had forgot. Who was honored of the Shiders. So, it just means that God is shining on us today. So, Mark, get Linda in and let's say hello to this beautiful spirit of ours.
Greetings, my friend.
Yo, I got to say, man, that was perfect timing because when things like that happen, I know God is like, smiling. You look beautiful, by the way. Thank you, Queen, for joining us.
I think Gary sang on that song too. I thought I heard his voice.
Yeah,
that you were playing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Gary did a track on that. I'm sure I heard his voice up in there.
Yeah, I'm sure he arranged the whole thing because it's the DNA, So how are you doing? I know you out in Kansas City.
I'm great. I got a little bit of a cold I'm getting rid of, so you might hear me sniffing every once in a while. I'm trying to keep it in wraps, though.
Yeah, you look beautiful. Don't you worry. God got you, sweetie. So I got to just ask this so people don't be bothering you about it. Since you live in Kansas City, are you going for the Chiefs or Philly in the Super Bowl? Let's get that out the way.
It's kind of weird because, Andy coached both teams. I'm sure he's expected. But, like Trump used to say, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. I think the Chiefs will have that same kind of clout here in Kansas City. Every place you look has a chief something in the window, in front of the stores. Everywhere you go, there's Kansas City Chief merchandise being sold. They run this city. They own it. So I'm conflicted. I guess I'm going for KC since I live here.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you either way, bro. Because, it's like, I get it. Because, see, I'm a Jets fan, but it's green. So Philly's green. And Kevin and them, my dogs, and David Brooks, they all up in Philly. But then I just told my neighbor, I got you on today, and you in Kansas City. And I don't want you to be hurt either. So I'm conflicted. I'm going to stay out of this one.
Dialed in on either team. It's just going to be a good game, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of this one. What's up, C? I love you.
Talking about the Super Bowl, Jay-Z is producing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, he is?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
And I told you, we were talking yesterday about surprisingly what they're making to do these shows.
Yes.
Like Usher made $641 union scale when he did the Super Bowl halftime. They don't pay them like the kind of extravaganza that they produce. They don't get that kind of money. I was surprised.
Me too. When you told me that, I was in shock.
Yeah, but I guess they do it for the publicity,
Yeah. And also people great on the resume. That's why I'm so pissed that they never landed the mothership at the Super Bowl. That's some racist shit right there.
Considered using George for that.
Yeah, that's racist. The only time is when they played in Detroit and he walked out. But then I was like, y'all should have happened. And I'm not angry about it. I'm just disturbed by it. You know what I mean? Because it's not fair. Like
you're in the funk, you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How are you not, there at the biggest spectacle of the year, kind of like the Mardi Gras thing? So that always bothered all of us funkheads. So yeah, we're hanging out today, and we're going to dig deep into some things that I know personally bothers you and touches you. So first of all, it's Black History Month, and normally I shout somebody out, but today you are Black History. So this is dedicated to you. We salute you for being a Black woman in the movie industry, writing industry, published, author, musician, singer, performer. We salute you, giving you your flowers today.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All Black history, right? So let's just address the elephant in the room. We know over the years there has been some issues with performers and artists, in your realm as well, in that circle, that really felt they didn't get their just due when it comes to economics, and when it comes to royalties, and when it comes to the overall support that you were there. So just give me a little insight and tell us about how you feel about that.
I think the record industry has been getting away with this from its very inception. Like in the old days, like record companies like Chess and Roulette would play like Etta James and Wilson Pickett and those kind of people. They would give them a car. They used to call it Cadillac Records. I think they did a movie called Cadillac Records, kind of blasting them for that kind of business practice.
Yeah.
And they did not think Black people knew what to do with money, so they would give them something, anything except cash.
Right.
Making hits, like topping the Billboard charts and stuff. And I get you a new Cadillac, that kind of stuff. That's how they were dealing with Black artists. And there's always been a two-tiered music industry. There's money, they give white boy money and Black folks money.
Yeah.
There's never been the same kind of income coming in for Black folks, for
That's
Black
right.
artists.
Right.
And that's been from the very inception of the record industry.
Yeah. And I know, because you came from DC in that area in Atlanta, I know a lot of times organized crime has had their hands in certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And the exploitation of artists. And see, that's why people say a lot of negative stuff about Barry Gordy, but really he's a hero because he basically took, now maybe those guys didn't get paid and they got exploited.
They didn't. They were on salary.
Yes. At least he said, listen, if anybody is going to rob us, it can't be you. It has to be me. Because he understood. And that doc, Standing on the Shadows of Motown, a must watch. Everybody should have it. And so growing up in this business, how do you think the offering of drugs and sex and all of that gave people a false sense of security, musicians and artists? Because all we want to do is create. We don't care about the other stuff.
It most definitely did. And that was another kind of a useful way to keep people in line. You drug them out, you play into their weaknesses, and you exploit them. And that's exploitation was the name of the game. And it kind of still is in a way.
Yeah. It's sad because, we love, you guys for what you did, because like I tell you many times, Funkadelic and P-Funk and Bootsy and that whole crew, you guys were our superheroes. What's up, D? You guys were our superheroes. You look like us. You talk like us. You smoke weed with us. You guys were the closest thing we could ever get to being there, because you were there and you didn't forget where you came from. You always embraced your tribe, because now the tribe, and this is what bothers me today, we're still here, most of us, that supported all of that. And sometimes I feel people like George the Funk Vinci, like David Brooks, like Sonia Murphy, like, Mama Sandy, like all the Funketeers that come to the ball, Tony Cam and everybody else. Sometimes I think that gets overlooked. And I just want to make people aware of that. That was very important, because in the beginning, it was all black people buying the music for the funk. White people didn't, they loved it, but they wouldn't buy their albums. I went over to my white friend's house, Led Zeppelin, The Who, ZZ Top, all of that. And then over my house, I had Funkadelics, the Ivy, you know what I'm saying? So Parliament, you know what I'm saying? Zap. So I'm glad it crossed over, but I just want people of today to realize that crossover is still happening. Embrace the funk. Come to us. We got something for you, the bomb. So let me ask you, and I got about a billion things I thought about last night. Payouts for independent artists. Spotify just came out with this thing now because Earth, Wind & Fire is suing them, I heard, and Doobie Brothers because their music is not being, they're not getting their royalties from Spotify. So Spotify now is messing with independent artists like me, you know. How do you view platforms like, and I love Spotify, don't get mad at me. How do you view platforms like that only pay artists 99 cents a download?
I think Napster was the very first online music site, and they were ripping the artists off. Now it's kind of like blossomed because the record company didn't know how to deal with it. They kind of had to get catch up mode to figure out how to get the money that was being exploited online. The thing with those guys is they're charging what they give you what they can because they don't have any control. There's no control over it. There's no minimum payment involved with them. They pretty much have their own to do as they please.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing.
And it's sad because, like you said, you know, it's so hard to keep track of where the music goes and is. And in a way, I'm happy for that because we're reaching the masses, but I'm saddened because publishing, for those of you that don't know, is where artists actually get paid.
That's where the money is.
Right. That's where we get paid.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm in BMI. I know you was at ASCAP BMI for, yeah.
I'm BMI as well.
Yeah.
Me and Gary both.
Yeah. I remember, and you told me about, you know, Gary's thing with BMI. So in addition to that, I wanna really hit this right now because, like I said, this stuff has been bothering me. You know, do you think that the money that is being generated by, again, my opinion, the iHearts of the world and the Live Nations of the world, those two have everything locked up as far as concerts, radio airplay. George, you and BMI, that's what's up. So I know we tried to open up for Fishbone and P-Funk when they came to the Ritz, and they told us, well, you're not a part of the Live Nation BMI stuff. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They told us we couldn't do it. They couldn't do it because the Ritz, the place itself, only books Live Nation and BMI, Live Nation and iHeart acts.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that happened right last year when George Clinton and them came through. So tell me your thoughts on that.
I find that kind of hard to believe that they would be so exclusive, you know?
Yeah.
I've never heard of anything like that. That's kind of that's weird.
If your management company doesn't do that whole BMI, that whole Live Nation and iHeart thing, you know, and I'm friends with people at iHeart.
It's a Live Nation Jay-Z's thing too, isn't he? He a part of Live. They've heard like there's a lot of controversy with that.
Maybe I know he had got Rock Nation, but I'm sure that those people have money and all of that because all that they really want to do is pump the 3-minute, 4-minute songs. Now George and them, because of who they are, the name recognition, they were able to get it under, I believe it was Live Nation, not iHeart. They were on the Live Nation tour. They just never promoted it that way. But that's what that was. They were getting in, and you can verify this with Garrett. I may be wrong, but they were getting in some of these gigs under Live Nation because I talked when Garrett was down here. I was hanging out with him. I was talking to him, you know, and you know he was very nice, and we always get along anyway. So you know we was chilling, but I was pissed because I said, man, we were supposed to be doing this warm-up for y'all, not Fishbone. They brought Fishbone all the way from California to here, and we like right here.
Wow.
But but it's cool because I don't mind. So having said that, and this has been over the years, misogynistic, mistreated, never getting equal pay, women being exploited throughout the whole business. Have you personally ever experienced any of that?
Kind of, in a way. I don't want to go into detail about personal.
No, you don't have to.
Like that, but women you have to be on guard at all times. We get exploited very easily just because we're women. We are pushed out there, and especially if you're an attractive woman, then you have a double whammy going on, I mean, I think about people I've heard about in situations I remember, like Ronnie from the Ronettes and Phil Spector. He used to keep her under lock and key in the house. The same thing with Mariah Carey and Benny Medina. Same thing, locked in the house, only allowed to go out when there was something she was supposed, like a show or something, or recording session, locked in the house otherwise. Basically kept as slaves.
Yeah. I heard Cardi B in an off microphone interview. You know how they have live mics, hot mics and shit. And she was like, "Yeah, man." She was like, "I want to get out of this thing, but they said they would threaten to kill my grandmother."
Yeah, that's kind of stuff that will go down. Like you hear about them holding people out the window to make them unsign someone or to make them sign someone. Like I said, the mafia used to be very involved in the music business.
Yeah.
Not so much now that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Sure they still have their tentacles in there somewhere,
Yeah. You know where they are? And I don't mind saying this. I work for some really cool people in New York. I won't say the name, but I work for a wedding company. So we were playing the Twin Towers, the Waldorf, places like that, big Manhattan Center, huge weddings. And I know that's how the dude was getting them. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen them there, Sammy the Bull. And I was like, yeah, man. I dapped them up. They gave me a $50 tip. And I was like, I'm out, they were never mean to us. Never, as black people. The Italians and black people get along very well.
Yeah.
Because they get us. We both talk loud with our hands and we like to eat.
I went through high school and grade school with the Mafia Don of Ohio's son.
Wow.
And he was like one of my best friends. We hung out, him how to dance. He would come to school in grade school with Italian leather gaiters, dressed like a grown-up,
Yeah, right.
That's how his father used to say to school. His name was Danny Sargini.
Yeah.
And his father was always in the news when they were bringing him in for questioning about something going on,
Yeah.
And kids would tease him, but he was like, "Hey, that's my dad, I'm not involved."
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. I was looking at I went back and looked at some old Motown stuff from the Supreme. I just wanted to see how they all dressed. Aretha, even you guys, you were funky, but you were classy. Today, I get disgusted when I see how they are exploiting these young girls in videos and in music, and there is just no end to the dimes that they want to make. Yeah. What is your opinion about you turn on a video and the first thing you see is a woman behind bouncing up and down?
I just feel like like I said, there's a lot of exploitation constantly going on, especially with the women in the business. But we if we allow ourselves to be exploited, then who can we blame? Yeah. I'm sure that bouncing around in the video, you get your 15 minutes, but then you have to one day your kids are going to see that. Yeah. So that's you have to think about the future. Can't live in the now. There's always, you have to think about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. One thing we always loved about you guys were very sexy, but you were always classy, very classy, sexy. It wasn't like trashy, and we used to love the little skimpy things y'all wore. Let me tell you, we was like, even if I was in the crow's nest, I had binoculars. Wasn't really looking at, I'm listening to the music, but we was looking at y'all. Trust me when I tell you. So, and that's why I'm always blessed to have you, like, like right here, man, because that
You know,
means a lot.
I always say, Zach, I said, we not only made them sound better, we made them look good too.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh
we
yeah.
got to trying to be as fly as we could.
Yeah. Give us an example about a typical session that you were on, and how I read, and I think I saw this on your other interview, and I want you to share with us. You guys were doing the End of Flashlight, singing that for like 6 hours or something. Tell me about that.
Sessions with P-Funk were always interesting because there was, first of all, there was always a crowd. Pretty much, it might just be the girls. Sometimes it was everybody. And, we'd be in there jigging with each other and laughing. It was always fun. We enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition too. Like somebody say, you're singing off key. And I would be like, I didn't even sing on that one. So you wasn't me.
Right.
It would be like that kind of stuff going on, Yeah. You messed up. I said, I didn't even sing on that part. So you better come up with something better. Okay. Trying to make me feel like I didn't belong. Yeah. I'm going to hang just as tough as you guys, Yeah. And eventually that stuff subsided.
Yeah.
The girls were very competitive. The fellas, not so much so. Maybe the guitar players were kind of like always trying to outdo each other. But pretty much it was like a family, Yeah.
That's what I always admired, through whatever was happening. You guys never really took that to the stage. You know what I'm saying? Always professional. And I remember seeing you guys at the Apollo when you did that stint there, like 30 days. I came like a whole week straight.
Well, the Apollo.
I took a vacation week off I really did. I took a vacation week off my job. I told my boss, listen, I have to go to college. I said, listen, I got to go to school. I said, because my school is in Harlem and it's 7 days. And I bought 7 tickets for 7 days and just sat there and just watched and listened and learned. That was one of the best experiences I had because, again, you guys were accessible. And, that was really cool. So, and then I would see Greg riding down, like on his bike. And then, I was hanging out eating fish around the corner, and then going to, that famous restaurant over there in Harlem. And it was very cool to understand how the whole mechanism worked, Yeah. And then once I figured that out, I was like, okay, now I can go ahead and do what I want to do and help keep the funk alive. Do you think keeping the funk alive mantra and what Bootsy and Patty are doing as far as funk not fight, and you writing your book, The Tales of Diaper, and telling these things, do you think we're reaching enough of the masses, or is there something else we got to do to really push it to that next level?
Well, I think one issue I've always had is that George gets all the publicity, and the songwriters and the makers of the funk kind of always get kind of like pushed to the side. That always bothers me, that we don't get enough recognition. Yeah. Like I said, when George got his star on the Walk of Fame and on Sunset Boulevard, I thought that should have been us too. I think we deserve to be recognized as well. Yeah. They're getting ready to do a biopic about him, and I'm also wondering, wow, will anybody get any kind of notice in that, or is it just going to be all about George as well? Everybody seems to forget who really made the music, who made those songs hits. Yeah. And it wasn't just the guy in charge.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's a very truthful way of speaking the reality that happened, regardless of where we are now or where it was then. That's very factually accurate because you were actually there, which is why I wanted to bring you in and interview like this, because I think it's important. We here at FFTFS are going to do everything we can to make sure you guys know. I love what Dawn is doing, when she wrote her book, and I didn't get it yet, Dawn. I'm sorry, I'm broke. I'll get it soon. But, I love what you did in your last interview I saw. And I think the world can feel it, but they haven't processed it yet, because it had to be a collective, like you said, the mothership. you know. So the collective, we've been feeling that all our lives. So we owe a debt to you, you know, for being a good soldier, as Mike Hampton once told me. He said, "Yeah, man, I'm just a."
We're all very good soldiers.
Yes, he said that, man. And when he said it, it touched my heart. I was giving him a hug, man. I was like, "Yo, proud of you, bro." He said, "Yeah, man." He said, "I'm a good soldier," you know. It really touched my heart, man. So I was like, yeah, you know, you are, you know, because that's hard work. All those songs, you know, writing, and people think being in the studio for a couple of hours is easy. Try like 8 to 10 to 12 hours, you know.
We're doing 4 or 5 hour sets.
Yeah, is that? Oh, yeah, that too. That part. That part. I was talking to Dennis, and he said that's why George brought him on. He said because George was bringing in 2-3 drummers just to get through the whole show.
Exactly.
And Dennis was young. He had the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, yeah, I could play for like 3-4 hours. I was like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I understand. You know, when we look back at the whole mothership experience, do you believe in UFOs?
Do what?
Do you believe in UFOs?
I think I've seen one.
Okay.
Out of California.
Same.
Oh, excuse me. Let me get some water, Zach. Hold on.
No worries. Take your time. We're hanging out with Linda Shider today on Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. Our producer, Mr. Markley, is back there, always classy, always fast. Thank you, George the Funk Adventure. I'm loving these comments, man. We're going to read some of these comments now. Boom. George the Funk Adventure says, it's going to be epic. That's right. Oh, we got this one. This will be the first time in the 50 years that anyone P-Funk performs with the mothership. You're actually right, because I know y'all are doing that thing down there in Houston. And George, let me go back to the top. Oh, it's right here. I'm sorry. The Groove Allegiance, you know, Garrett Shider and Groove Allegiance will be performing at the first annual Mothership Festival in Hugh-Town, H-Town, and my dog Hector Garcia is down there. So George the Funk Vinci is involved. April Pantherson is involved. Garrett Shider is involved. So I know it's going to be hot, and we're doing everything we can, man, to get down there. So we're going to definitely try. And if you can put that data for us, George, this way, that would be great. We appreciate that. It's in San Antonio. Great. Okay. Just throw the data for us. That'd be great. So we're hanging out today, and we're just getting deep with some funk. Hanging out with P-Funk royalty, Linda Shider. So tell me, what do you have coming up on the horizon as far as what have you been working on? What do you got in the vault?
Well, I'm teaching one of my grandsons the bass.
Okay.
And I've been kind of doing that. Still trying to find someone to help me get my bio done.
Okay.
Because I know that if I do it by myself, it's going to take me forever.
Right.
As I get involved in something, then I kind of like, oh, well, let me try this. I'm always experimenting with different things.
Right.
Like, like to lock in on something beside music, it's always been very difficult. I like to paint, but I get in spurts. Sometimes I'm doing my painting. Sometimes I'm coming up with some new riffs, just trying to stay busy and stay active.
Right. I think that's where we are now, given the state of the overall feeling of the country. I think we as artists are so important now more than ever, because they need us. And we ain't going to get too heavy into politics, but again, this is the elephant in the room, so it has to be spoken on. Do you think this dude is going to come after us?
How do you think Elon Musk became so powerful in the government? Yeah. Because Trump handed him, he even came up with a whole new organization for him to run. And it's kind of funny because it comes out looking like dog me. Wait a minute. Doggy. I'm like, is he a closet P-Funk fan?
Right. I guess.
The dog thing kind of like, wait a minute, that's kind of interesting that it ends up looking like Doggy. So I said, is he maybe a closet? Yes, I hear he's autistic. So who knows? He might be a closet P-Funk fan.
And you know what? The code is there. So if it's there, it's there. You know what I mean? If it's there, it's there. So it may be. That may be the secret code. Maybe we all should atomic dog it. Maybe that's going to cure the world. You know, if we all just get out there and atomic dog it one time. They did that down here. When they went out in Greensboro and they got the cues, and then they were all like doing a new video down there. I didn't go. I know Shirley Clinton was down there, and you know they were down there doing it, but you know I had other stuff to do. But maybe, hey, you're probably right. You know, doggy. See, now I looked at it as Dodge Ram, but now I'm gonna start calling it doggy.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. You know,
but what he's doing is not hardly funny at all.
No,
He's
it's not.
Hold of all of our personal information from the IRS.
Yeah. You know, and see, here's the thing that I want people to know. This is important. Like, if you're in North Carolina, I don't know about other states. We had our grants frozen as artists. They froze our grants. The Hayti Center and Downtown Raleigh Cultural Arts Center, the grants that they get from the government to help out musicians to do things got frozen last Friday. Now
and they're trying to eliminate those things. They're trying to eliminate NPR.
Yep.
PBS.
Yep.
MSNBC. Yep. He definitely wants to go after them.
Yeah. And see, it's not fair at all to begin with. But why are you messing with artists? Art. Like, why are you doing that?
For that control. They want to control everything. They want to control everyone's thought processes, their lifestyle, everything.
Yeah, that's why we as artists got to buck the system as much as we can, you know, and just be like, yo, we are the revolution. You know what I mean? And see, now our Latino brothers and sisters understand, like, yo, we should have listened to them, you know, because we
went for the okie doke, didn't they?
We as Black people have been trying to tell them since the Cuban thing, you know, like since the 60s. We was like, yo, y'all ain't really white. Y'all need to come over here. You don't want us down with y'all. But then, and this is not every Latino, because I know plenty of Mexican Latinos that are dope. But you know, they're like, no, we're gonna stay. You stay over there. I'm not Black. But then it's like now they see, oh, I should have been with them because it's strength in numbers. And see, this is going to affect our culture, and it's going to. And the reason I'm bringing this up is going to affect how we as artists see the world. You know, because when you see the world and you can paint pretty pictures and go and record that or write that or draw about that, it makes the world brighter. But now I know, like I tell you, my next song coming out is going to be What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down. Because I'm thinking, yo, this is coming. So it changed the way that I wrote that song. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's bad or good. We'll find out when the song comes out. But I just feel so torn for people that can't get it with this dude. I'm like, you can't be fucking stupid. You can't be stupid. You're smart. Why?
Well, evidently not smart enough.
Right.
For that many people to vote that man into office again, like I said, it's still shocking to me. It's shocking.
Yeah, we all are feeling that. And, you know, I don't want to get into the whole religious, spiritual thing, but I tell you, Satan is running wild. So y'all just be careful out there. That's all I can tell you. You know, we're hanging out with Linda SHIDER today. We're going to run a few spots that we got and then come back on the other side and get into some more music business with the amazing P-Funk legend, Linda SHIDER, hanging out with us today. And we're going to bring Mark Lee back so he can kind of, you know, jump in with his questions. Mark has been, so they say, out of pocket. That's what he told me this morning. So I'm glad to have you back, Mark. I'm glad you're back in the pocket. And then me, like an idiot, I didn't know what out of pocket meant. I had no idea, Linda. I was like, what does that mean? And then he had to explain it to me. I was like, okay, okay. I ain't mad at you. Out of pocket. Mark is out of pocket. Y'all hang out with us, man. I want to thank P-Funk Radio. You know, I want to thank JTRP. Of course, Larry Funkster Jones, Gabe Gonzalez, and now joining P-Funk Radio will be my dog Philly Phil down in Texas, so he's going to be doing some stuff there. And also Kane and Jam. Thank you, Kevin, for all the music. HJ Entertainment, I want to thank you guys as well. I want to thank my dog David Webb. Thank you for putting NHFA in the Funk Hall of Fame. I appreciate you, bro, and I'll see you soon. And I want to definitely thank all the people out there. So y'all sit back and watch this spot. I got a surprise for you.
Hey, y'all. Linda SHIDER here, talking about my brother from another mother, Zach Robertson's Funkin' from the Front Seat podcast. It's Saturday afternoons, 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock on the West Coast, and 10 and 11 in between. We talk about, I'm on there sometime, we talk about politics, music, of course, what's going on in the world, and whatever kind of floats our boat that day. So y'all check it out. Like I said, Funkin' from the Front Seat, Zach Robertson's podcast, Saturday afternoons, 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock West. Peace.
It's Peppermint Patty. Hello to everyone, all of our Club Funketeers all around the world. I want to say this to you. You're watching FFTFS on 9 on the Grind TV every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern to 9 a.m. Pacific. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful show it is. And it's with our Club Funketeer, who? Zach. On the 9. Zach is the vice president of the Club Funketeers. So we lift him up every day and we thank him for keeping the funk alive. All right, go ahead. Let's do it, number 9. Peppermint Patty.
What's up, Royal Funk fans? This is Lisa Love, a.k.a. Alpha Unk Omega, coming to you from Love's Temple here in Southern California, inviting you to 9 on the Grind, Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson. This is what I want you to do for me. Tune in every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come join the meeting of minds. I guarantee soul's growth and high vibrations, not to mention the love. Keep it funky, y'all.
Hey, this is Jen Vanderputten, writer of Code and Prose. You are watching Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Roberson. Tune in every Saturday at noon for excellent and important conversation.
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guest, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
This is Joe Keys of Joe Keys and the Late Bloomer Band. Just did a show with my man Zach. Number 9, that's right. Number 9's got it going on. Check out Funk from the Front Seat. Zach Robinson, serious good vibrations, y'all. What we need. Peace.
Hey fam, what's goody good? What's really good? My name is Jeff Roberson from the gospel group called Jeff Roberson and New Life. And I'm coming to you from the town that we had to name it twice. It's so nice. New York, New York. And I'm bringing you some news about my brother from another mother, brother Zach, who's bringing you his hot new show called Funk from the Front Seat. Listen, he's bringing you funk from the vault, from the past, from the present, and into the future. He's got that music that makes the hair on the back of your neck rise up. He's bringing you funk all the way down to your toes. This is that funk that makes you really want to groove. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial as he brings you funk from the front seat. Listen, let's go.
I had to get those spots in. Thank you for all the people that support and show love, right? Because when I see those spots, I remember like, oh, this is the family, this is the tribe, you know? And thank you for your lovely spot. I appreciate that. Mr. Markley, you back there. I want to bring you in on this. I want to get into the next subject. Mr. mysterious deaths around publishing. Now, I'm not a conspiracist, but I do see reality. And over, years and years, going all the way back, Otis Redding, James Brown, Michael Jackson, Prince, Kurt Cobain, all of these people, oddly enough, had obtained great deals of publishing money. Michael Jackson had just bought the Beatles catalog. Prince had his purple thing. He said, the purple pie. How do you feel about knowing that that's Whitney Houston? How do you feel about knowing that stuff actually happened to our people?
You speaking to me or Mark?
I'm talking to you. Speaking to you.
Oh, I find it very suspect. And like I said, that was drugs are one of the things that were always fed to Black artists, and not just Black artists, artists in general, to keep them in line. If you have a habit of some sort, you're more controllable.
Yeah.
But Prince, specifically, I know Prince was not a drug user. So for him to die like that was very suspect to me. I know people that worked with him who said they would never even if he knew they would even think about doing drugs, he'd get rid of them. That's how bad it was, how intense he was about that whole aspect of his career. I just don't see that. Whitney was doing drugs for years. So her was more understandable that, that was how she went out. But certain people, it's just kind of suspect.
Yeah. Mark, your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree that it's very suspect. I mean, it's been suspect for a while, and a lot of people are killed mysteriously, and it doesn't make any sense, including some of our civil rights leaders that we know were probably taken out by the bigger machine and all along those lines. So definitely that is something that goes on regularly. And yeah, I was surprised by Prince's death and everything, because I've even heard people that say that he was, and this may surprise you, even though I've heard that a lot of people were more aware of it than I was, but I found out he was an avid, I know we got the Super Bowl coming up, but he was an avid basketball player. And even though he might have been short, they said he had some moves on the basketball court and was actually a good player and would even play some pickup games with his musicians. Because even I know you've had some musicians on this show, and I've been in other spaces with people that have played with him, and they said that he was a very intense gentleman, but he might even call you after an intense music session to a pickup game of basketball, and they said he had some moves on the court. So even though he might have been short, they said he could move and maybe even dunk and do some other kind of moves. So they said he was actually a good basketball player and all along those lines. So a lot of people might be shocked that he was as good as he is and everything. But yeah, a lot of the things don't make any sense. Elvis was involved in drugs and everything for a long time, but the way that he was controlled by his doctor and everything, and the way that the drugs took him out, I think was suspicious. I was actually visiting with my grandma years ago, decades ago, when he passed and everything. We were actually in Disney World in Florida and everything like that. And I remember coming back and watching the TV, and even that was decades ago, but was still very suspicious. And we hear all these suspicious things that happen on a regular
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe, yep, Marilyn Monroe, another one. So yeah,
what's the, like when you reached your when you like overstepped your boundaries, it's time for you to go. When you're asking for too much, you're demanding too much that the people don't think you deserve, it's time for you to go. That's right. How things seem to go down to me a lot.
Yeah,
I like George's comment. Go ahead and read that comment, Mark.
Yeah, I was going to read the comment and actually going to tie it into something I was going to say, but he said he thinks Prince was a setup because the gatekeepers couldn't control him. And I was listening to y'all talking earlier, and you were talking about Live Nation, and I know I brought it up to you a couple of times, Zach, and I'm sure Linda's aware of this as well. But a lot of times the gatekeepers are in control of a multitude of the industry. So Live Nation actually is tied into Ticketmaster and some of the ticketing companies, as well as those venues and the radio station. So a lot of times all of the elements of the octopus, if I can use that analogy and everything, are all controlled by one entity. So it's got like one heartbeat, but it's got multiple tentacles, and they are all controlled by that same heartbeat. And even though there's multiple tentacles to what's going on, and that's been going on for decades.
Forever. And don't think that payola is a thing of the past either.
No.
It kind of in my opinion, the Grammys looked kind of suspect because, you know, it was like, wait a minute, Kendrick Lamar walked off with about 10. Is he that good? Really?
Or the next one. And he's playing the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he's playing the Super Bowl.
See, maybe that's like you said. Maybe they got him that to promote the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But did you hear what the young lady said, Linda, at the Grammys and everything? Because I did not watch the Grammys. Like Zach was saying, I was out of pocket and wasn't doing as much as I probably would have done if I was at home and all along those lines. But I was just wondering, because I did hear that there was a young lady who won Best New Artist, but she basically called out the music industry because she said that the music industry isn't paying artists, that they don't have benefits, and that they're not getting medical and other things. So she basically said that if y'all are going to make money off of us, y'all need to be paying us, but also making sure that we can take care of ourselves, whether that's housing or whether that's medicine.
Her speech was very profound. I can't remember what the name was because these were all new artists, so people I'm not really familiar with. And there was another girl, she was from Tampa. She was a hip hop, won a couple of hip hop awards. She was speaking on her like being a brown skinned black woman. How, you know, the contrast, like say for her and like a Beyonce, you know, being, you know, like miss like second class citizenship because of how she looks. You know, she's not really a beautiful girl, but she's a nice looking girl. And she was how she was like being like second class citizenship, you know, because of how she looked.
Believe me,
both of them were very profound.
And
all of dark-skinned black people understand that. Because I was always like dark, and I've been discriminated against because I wasn't, as they say, high yellow. But that's all a myth, you know what I'm saying? But Linda, you had told me something on the phone the other night. We was talking, setting up the show, and you said something about Beyonce's speech or somebody's speech. That's what you were referring to?
No, it wasn't Beyonce because you know she was just typical Beyonce. This was a new artist. She's from Tampa, Florida. What's her name? She has a really odd name too, like Cognic or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look her up now, but the one that I was talking about is, and she's got some criticism from even the music industry and everything, but
they don't like
the young lady that won the Best New Artist is Chappelle Rowan and everything, and she's even saying that she's basically fired back on Instagram with a $25,000 throwdown. So she definitely got challenged and everything, but she's the one that definitely criticized the industry, and she had like a kind of like a fairy type hat and everything like that. But yeah, she definitely called out the the industry, and she said our record label is doing enough to support emerging artists, and her general gist is that they are not doing enough to support emerging artists or artists in general all along those lines. But yeah, it was definitely a good speech that she gave. Part of being out of town and being out of pocket was to hear some speeches, even while I was out of town, that dealt with the industry. And one of the things that I heard that I was curious to your thoughts around, Linda, is that, and it kind of plays into what y'all were talking about with the news. A lot of our kids are not getting their news from traditional sources and everything, because they are actually getting their news from Facebook and Instagram and a number of other things. So even the way that that's going is changing and everything. And I also heard a gentleman say, because y'all talking about those 5-minute songs and those short songs, that we may be getting, and I don't even know how this is going to work, Linda, we may be getting 1-minute telenovelas coming out of China. So I don't even know how you can get drama in 1 minute, but they're talking about that they're going to create 1-minute telenovelas and everything like that. So a 1-minute
soap opera. What's a telenovela? What is that?
It's like a Spanish soap opera.
Yeah, I'm curious too. In 1 minute,
what is it?
Can't say much.
It's like a soap opera. It's a soap opera.
I saw something where they said they're going to do shorts.
Say shorts, like 1-minute shorts, soap operas.
Yeah, I don't see that does.
You know what they're doing, and this is true because we peeping this out here on this show, so y'all ain't doing this to us. They are literally program, reprogram, deprogram. You know what I'm saying? Like George, y'all was saying back then, they want our brains to be so chopped up,
full of mush.
So we already respond to beeps and pings. They figured that out. Bing, oh, phone. Bing, oh, phone. You know what I'm saying? We already know the algorithms know what we like, because I buy a pair of sneakers. The next day, I got 1,000 sneaker ads. You know what I'm saying? Right? We already know Big Brother George Orwell said this in the 80s. They're watching.
They don't have
As
to watch
independent artists, we
Zach.
have the internet.
Zach, but they got Big Brother in your house. I don't have one. Well, I actually got
Yeah.
one, but I don't use it and everything. But who
Everybody
among us
that has
doesn't?
cameras in their home, you can imagine that there's not only one person watching what you're doing.
No, that's what I'm saying. They got it in your house. Who do you think's listen to Alexis and Sarah? So, like I said,
I don't have that.
I don't have.
I never wanted that.
But I'm just saying. But that's from a Big Brother, because I've heard people.
I know.
I've heard people that got in their different rooms and literally after they have said something that was interesting to them, that's what was advertised on the TV or that they saw later. So it's like it was programmed. So it's like, maybe they walk by and say, and I'm saying there's a couple, honey, we need to get some soup and everything. And then the next thing they know, they're seeing Campbell's soup ads on their TV and everything like that. You can't tell me that's not programmed.
I'll tell you something that happened very strange with my phone. Siri was like giving me like misinformation, and I said something like, "Oh crap," or maybe cursed or something. My phone actually said, "I don't like how you're talking to me."
Really?
And I looked at the phone. I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is my phone giving me crap." I don't like how you're talking to me, and shut down for a minute. I was flabbergasted.
Wow. You know what's funny? This is true. You ever have to pay a bill online and the AI picks up and it's like, "Oh, would you like to make your payment, sir?" Right? And then you press 1 for yes, 2 for no. You press 2 for no. And then it's like, "Would you like to make a partial payment, sir?" The voice changes and the inflection changes. And then you're like, "No, I want to speak to customer service representative." Hold on, a customer service representative. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing changes. And I know this is happening. I ain't losing my mind.
Yeah,
I'm like, "You was nice a minute ago. Now because I can't pay the bill, you all shitty with me on the phone." What is going on? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing to me? I don't even know you. You're not even real.
You see what George just said? And that's what I was talking about. All the smartphones have Big Brother and definitely sister on them now, and not by choice. So like a lot of that stuff is already there. It's already programmed, and even your smartphone has got all of that information. It's Zach, this is what is scary. I don't know how you've ever done it, but I get a lot of, even here at the center where I'm at, I get a lot of business cards. I have put in the information of the business card that might just be a telephone number and a address, like a typical information of the business card and everything. It will pull up information that wasn't on the card when you enter the data and everything. So that's how deep Big Brother is. Like it will, like say it says Zach Robinson. I'm not gonna give your number, but telephone number and everything, and then it will literally pull up your current address, even though that's not on the card.
Whoa!
You tell me that's not scary.
We're in it, and see, Revelation speaks of this because a lot of the stuff we use technology for is good, science, operations, etc. Finding lost kids. Here's something that they won't do that they should have did. And Kim had talked about this 3 years ago, Mark. They should have where if you abuse somebody or you're a pedophile or something like that, right? It should be something that follows you on your body or chip inside you where the police and authorities know where you are. Because you can't tell me they can find a person from their driver's license or registration, but then they never seem to find these criminals.
But they're supposed to have that. There's supposed to be that whole because I've known some people that have been on it. There's supposed to be that whole app that tells you if you live near somebody that has gone in those kind of crimes. And I've looked up some folks and some of them were scary because they were not maybe living near you and all along those lines. So they're supposed to have that, but I don't think it's as thorough as it could be. So I agree with you.
And also, what I'm saying is it should be on the person.
Something in your mailbox or mail you something to let you know if there was a pedophile living in your vicinity. Yeah. They only did it once though that I remember. I think the ACLU got involved and said it was illegal.
Yeah, they said it was
illegal.
You know
something? They said a lot of the pedophiles always move in the neighborhoods where there's a school.
Yeah, that's a known fact. They're targeting their next victims in a lot of ways and everything. Hey, Zach, I know I'm going off just slightly and everything, but I was just curious while y'all were talking. I did look up his rallies from 2022 in terms of traditional funk. I could not find any on his playlist, meaning that purple person or whatever, or that person that's got the crazy hairstyle that's currently in the office. But he did have some songs like Michael Jackson. I think he had one or two Prince songs, and he did have a couple of folks that would be identified within the funk idiom and everything, but none of the major ones. Because like Michael Jackson, I think he had Beat It and Thriller and a couple of other folks, but I did not see like the George Clinton.
He's a Thriller, all right.
Yeah. They had Cool in the Gang, he had Celebration, so he did have some of those songs that would be somewhat.
God bless the Republic. God bless him. I want to see him moonwalk his ass out of there. How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
and take the Three Stooges with you.
Yeah. Three Stooges?
Okay.
Don't you think you got like about 20 Stooges? Because every time you turn around,
I just want the main three for now. I'll settle for three for now.
Okay.
We know in the industry, sex sells. Okay. Every commercial now, it's got hip hop in it. Rap, sexual, selling me something. This is one of my pet peeves. I want to hear your opinion, Linda, and then Mark.
Yeah.
Every little thing now. Now, something I saw on TV the other day really disturbed me. And I don't mean from a moral, high ground, judgment point of view. It disturbed me because I'm 66 years old and I just wasn't used to seeing it like that. It was 3:00 in the afternoon. I was watching a playoff game. And, you know, we all got politics on our mind. So I was like, damn, we lost. I couldn't believe it. I'm still thinking about how did we lose? I saw a commercial, and I liked the commercial. It was for HIV. And they had 4 different scenes, mini scenes. The one scene, the guy and the girl, they would talk about HIV and how this medicine helped them. The other scene, you know, gay couple, obviously, how this medicine helped them. And then another scene, how this medicine helped this lady. But then at the end, they went back to the 2 men, and it was a black dude and it was a white dude. Now, I'm not racist, I'm not homophobic, or none of that. But it just shocked me because I was watching a football game at 4 in the afternoon. So I'm thinking my testosterone is high. The 2 men actually kissed. Not pecked. They swapped tongues. Linda, this shit fucked me up.
I haven't seen that commercial.
I'm not the same since, and this was 2 weeks ago. It completely blew my mind. And then I said, see, we know this. We ain't mad at you for this. But this is how the liberals lost. Shit like that. And see,
I find that most commercials these days have interracial couples.
Yeah.
We still have that racist undertone in this country. So whatever they're selling, people are not buying, obviously.
No.
Or Trump wouldn't be in the White House today. You know?
Yeah, I've never seen a commercial that made me buy anything. Like, I know what I want, so I just go get it. You know what I mean? And the commercial was shot in such a way to where it might have been the first of its kind, because we've come that far, and I'm okay with that. But you got to give people in my generation a buffer. You can't just throw that.
Very similar to that during the Olympics. That kind of took me by surprise. It was like a gay guy, and kind of like it was bisexual in nature, sexual in nature, gay in nature, and it was, I can't remember what the product it was selling was. Seemed like it might have been something in the clothing industry, fashion industry or something. But the commercial was so sexually oriented, I was surprised that they showed it during the Olympics, when kids are watching. It was pretty intense.
Yeah, and see, we're in those times where we can accept all of that. But again, we got to think how the United States is a global place. Everybody ain't really ready for that. And I know I talk to a lot of black men and a lot of white men that are straight, heterosexual in my Uber car, and we all say the same thing. We voted liberal and for the Democrats, but we don't like how our party seems to be focused on the wrong stuff. That's not important. The medicine was important for HIV. That should have been what I came away with.
Priority.
But instead, I came away with this other thing. And that really, it bothers me. I don't like it.
Zach, that's been going around for a while. Y'all were talking about the portrayal of musicians and everything, and I put it in chat. There's a young lady, I think she might live in California, but I knew her mother, who was a local model and everything, but she literally made her living as one of those hip-hop vixens and everything. So you can look up Shonda Paxson. She was on a number of those hip-hop artists and everything. She's a known model, about in her late 20s now, because I think she's a mother herself now, late 20s or early 30s, but she was very much caught up in that video modeling, trying to use the sex appeal in order to get the music sold. It wasn't about the lyrics, it was about the sex appeal and all along those lines. And she actually made a good living doing that and was on some name artists. I just can't think of their names off the top of my head and everything. And by the way, Zach, I did look it up because I was just curious, me and my natural curiosity, and you sending me down rabbit holes and all along those lines. But the first commercial that featured two-man shopping was actually I think it was a Japanese company, because I think IKEA is Japanese, but they were the first marketers to feature a gay couple, and that was 20 years ago. They did it in 1994 when they showed two-man shopping for a dining room table, and that was the first major national TV ad to portray a gay couple ever. So apparently that was
they didn't swap tongues though.
Right.
I was okay with it. They can hold hands. I've seen commercials with gay men holding hands. I ain't mad at gay men. I got friends. But I'm like, yo, it messed me up, because I don't think, and I was looking at it from a political point of view, why we can't get that center right to move center left with us is because of things like that. Because they feel we're focusing on things that should be left in the home or the church or the school. It shouldn't be coming across the screen in between the halftime of a football game.
But Zach,
I ain't mad at it.
No, I get what you're saying, but they're going on the opposite side, because I don't know if y'all saw this. I'm sure Linda did, because she's got ties to DC and everything along those lines. But literally, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was earlier today, that because of a drag show, and they did do, I think, a drag show several years back. Several people have done drag shows and everything, that Trump is ready to take over literally the Kennedy Center. He said he wants to fire the entire board of directors, and he wants to put himself in charge of the Kennedy Center, which is one of the leading cultural centers in the nation. But he wants to literally take it over and put his people in charge, like he's doing with everything.
For what purpose? For what purpose would he want to do that? It's just,
it's an ego thing. It's him wanting every shiny new toy that's out there. He wants to be in control of everything that he can be in control of and everything, and he wants to dictate. And it's also that he wants to get his people in there. Like, I know that, maybe Kid Rock is tired of playing the small clubs, and he'll have Kid Rock up there doing a Kennedy Center honors and everything like that, because he even dissed the Kennedy Centers at the honors and all along those lines. But now he wants to take over the Kennedy Center and put his people like Elon Musk and other in charge of it. So who knows what he'll take over next? Maybe he'll take over the trying to think of another major iconic institution. Maybe he'll come down here and take over Duke Performances or something like that. But he wants to take over everything.
Well,
I can honestly say
they're trying to fight him on tooth and nail on everything. But I'm so sick of them asking me for money every 5 minutes. I've had two while we have doing this show. I've had two text messages from them asking me for money. I'm sick of it. The money I gave them didn't help. So why keep on supporting someone when they can't figure out how to win anymore? It's the same.
Right. You know what's funny? We're talking about this, and then George, put that comment back up, Mark. I gotta read that. I seen one with the dog humping the dude's leg, and I was like, WTF. And then he says it was for barbecue sauce, right? See, this is what I'm talking about. See, now to George and I, we still can overcome that and be against the bullshit. That's the Republicans. But for the person that's on the fence, they're like, what are they showing this for? Some dude that's like plowing his field comes in for a glass of lemonade off his farm, and he turns on the TV and he sees that. He's like, the country's going crazy. And I can't blame him. I can't blame him for that. I get it. I couldn't figure it out now, but now I know why we lost 20% of that right wing. Now I know, because of stuff like that. And again, it's not against the law. I'm not a hater. I'm not homophobic. Nobody on the show is. We've had transgender people on the show, gay people, lesbian, whatever. We're not that. We're not saying that. What we are just saying is, please pull it back a notch and let's focus on the real. Homelessness. Let's focus on infrastructure. Let's focus on schools, which I'm going to ask you a question about. Okay. When we look at the nation, I talked to a lady from Germany yesterday and another lady from Denmark, because I was driving Uber part-time, doing what I do, and they told me they laugh at American schools.
I'm sure they do.
Because she said, number one, there's no discipline. Most of the European and schools over there, you got to wear some type of structured uniform.
Yep.
And you go all year round. Now, we have year-round schools down here in North Carolina. But she said it's not because you're not educated. It's because you don't apply what you were taught. And she said Germany and those places in Denmark, the lady was from, she said, no, the minute we went to, she's called it formal school or something, which I guess is their high school. And she said the minute that she left school, she just started applying what she learned right away. No quick fixes. I'm not trying to do this. I'm just going to, grind. And she said she feels here in America, we have these great colleges and institutions. And then she said, how is it somebody can graduate from UNC or NC Central or Duke and they end up working in Burger King? She said they can't figure why it's like that over here. And I didn't have an answer for her. Why do you think that is, Linda?
I don't think there's much. Here we go for another. Hold on, I had to get that text message out of the way. We don't seem to have much interest in using our education to our advantage. It's like a means to an end. You figure when you've got your bachelor's, you're going to get a decent job. When I finally got mine, I was making like $13 an hour. It was so chumpy to me. I didn't want to stay at the job. I figured I was planning to go to law school, but the law schools I was invited to attend were in 2 different states where I couldn't afford to have a dual residence. Mm-hmm. So I had to put that dream out the back window.
Yeah.
We just don't seem to have much of a upward mobility issue going on with us anymore.
Yeah.
We were always told, go to college, get a great job. That's not in the cards anymore. Once you graduated, you still have to climb and scratch and try to find a way to make a decent living to pay back your student loans.
Yeah. You're right. And see, kudos to all the young people, the Gen Zers that are coming up with all these great ideas and pushing forward and doing well. I'm not talking about you guys because I love y'all because you're giving us technology, you're giving us shortcuts, you're showing us how to do things. So you guys are definitely using that. But a lot of times, I don't want to see you take that narrative and then all of a sudden you turn around and be like, well, I can't handle what somebody says to me on a screen. So I feel bad about myself, or I can't handle, like, if I don't have the brand new Michael Jordans, so I got to go out and kill you for them. See, there's a disconnect there. If you have this education over here that we do, the lady from Denmark says, we never kill nobody for sneakers. We don't even do guns. And the lady from Germany was like, she never heard of, they got gangs and stuff there now that it's starting. But she said when she was a kid, she would hear something in America about somebody getting killed for a pair of sneakers. And she said, that's unheard of. She said, why you got so much smarts and education, but your kids do dumb things? She said she went to her dad was a minister. She went to school, college, got a job, and she couldn't figure it out. And we had a long conversation about it. I said, ma'am, there's so many things going wrong over here from the get-go. I said, I couldn't even tell you why.
But Zach, there's a lot of issues around that and everything. One is that, because y'all kind of alluded to it earlier and everything, is that where I get frustrated is there's a lot of conversation even among our kids and everything for them to join the machine, not to fight against the machine, but them for literally to join the machine and everything like that. So even to that notion of going to work for the quote unquote man and everything, and not really encouraging as much entrepreneurship and development as there probably should be, and all along those lines, because they want you to go to work for somebody else for 15, 20, 30, 40 years and not really try to climb up the ranks. And that can be very frustrating. And that's part of the reason that some of these young people are trying to steal what they think is what they need and everything like that. Because there's also this whole epidemic around bullying, and there's a lot of bullying, and particularly around our young folks. Even though I don't have any, I've got those two nephews of mine, and I know you got your two daughters and everything, and I am oftentimes scared, literally, for these young people because of the nature of society. And every time you turn around and you hear about these kids that are literally taking their own lives and everything like that because of the bullying and other aspects of what's going on, that is very scary, and all along those lines. And by the way,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's very scary. And by the way, I just looked it up. Going to look it up and everything like I oftentimes do. Germany, and but right now the U.S. education is in 13th place with a score of 0.883 and falls behind countries like Germany and New Zealand. South Korea ranks first in education for last year, and the U.S. spends $16,080 per public school student per year and everything like that. So they're spending money, but
we're not even in the top 10.
Not in the top 10. We're number 13.
Yeah, we're not even in the top 5. No. But yet we're supposed to be the best. Come on now. Yeah. It really bothers me. And this crosses over into the music game, because a lot of kids feel like, hey, that's my out. That's my shot. That's my shot. And I hope God bless them. I hope they make it.
The only problem with that, Zach, is that going into this business, as cutthroat as it is, and not having the intellect to know how to make a deal for yourself that's protecting you.
Yep.
Ray Charles was the first guy to put in his contract so he got control of his masters. Yeah. So he could control his publishing and what was done with his music. Yep. And Billboard used to put out a book called This Business of Music, which gave you A to Z, everything you need to know about getting involved in this industry. But I think it was put out in the 70s. I don't think they've updated it, but it really would not be relevant now because of what's going on the internet. This was before the internet came into being. This was like in the 70s when they put the book out. And it was very informative. It told you everything you needed to know about publishing, about what to look for when you did a record contract. It was very, very good information.
Yeah. It was the Bible.
It's so outdated now, it probably wouldn't even be worthwhile to look at it.
That's right, because back then that was the Bible. Every musician had to have that. You're right.
It was like our Bible, but like I said, it's so outdated now because of the internet and what's going on with business now. It probably wouldn't even be applicable.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And see, like dealing with the music game and young people, please listen to what Linda's saying, because she knows she's been through the whole thing. And dealing with that game the way it is set up now, the quick money, because a lady asked me the other day, young lady, I went to get a fish sandwich, and she's young Arab girl, no more than 16, 17. She's like, oh, you do music? Oh, help me with this and Instagram, TikTok, this and that. I said, listen, I that ain't me. I'm not a Gen Z person. I said, first of all, you too young and you're a woman. And I said, no. I said, you get yourself a young producer, some young dude, a woman. I said, because me personally, I said, there's a line that I draw when it comes to dealing with people in this game. I said, I hope you make it. And I know you're going to do well if you write and this and that. I said, but you don't need to be soliciting random strangers about what you want to do. I said, that's the first mistake you making now. I said, you don't even really know me. So you don't want to give me your ideas and give them away. Keep that close to your vest. And I said, get yourself, surround yourself with one or two people.
Exactly. Good people that believe in you and that you can trust.
Right. She didn't even know me. Now, she's a nice girl. She trusts me. Obviously, I go in there for food all the time, but I'm just a customer. If you want to really understand how this thing works, you gotta look at it from a different point of view. We got about 5 minutes left. Linda, you've been gracious to hang out with us. I know it's early over there. And we appreciate you.
Always a pleasure, Zach.
Yeah, we appreciate everything that you taught us today and everything we learned and sharing your stories, your personal things and things like that. And also reminded me, about funk done gone hip hop. See, I'm gonna play that song when I get done. I love that song. I used to dance around my house.
Before we go, I want to say how proud I am of all the women that are producing music now.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like I said in the studio, actually doing their own thing. Producing, I produced a lot of my stuff. I never got credit for it, but hey, it was a learning experience to be able to control a session and be able to tell people, you play this, you back out, that that kind of stuff. It was very, very enlightening.
And that, and we're going to give you the full screen in a minute too. And that's very important because on this show, we always uplift women. We know you guys are the strongest people on the planet. We know that, you put up with a lot more than you talk about. You carry a lot more than you mention, especially as women of color. And we also appreciate you, at least we do, I do, because, I mean, having the female energy around you is a necessary thing. If you're a dude like me or Mark or somebody, we need that. So y'all keep doing that, man. That's what it is. So I'm gonna give Linda Shider the full screen. Mark, any last thoughts? 1 minute.
No, just like I said, I'm curious to see about the development of the industry, particularly the industry that you're in, because I just saw that Spotify and Tencent are going at it with each other and everything. So
I told you
how this goes along and what happens in that space, because there's a lot of these things that even the independent artists need to be aware of and try to work within the trends in order to be successful and all along those lines. So definitely it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and how we can make it a beneficial even for those that are independent.
Yeah. And see, just to piggyback before we get Linda the full screen, independent artists, no matter if they have 5 million followers or 5 on Spotify, will never make a dime from them as they should. Snoop Dogg, I think he said he had 250 million followers, and he said he got $650.
Right.
From Spotify? He got it from Spotify, Zach?
Yeah, he said, listen, he was on YouTube talking about it. He was like, a lot of artists, Chuck D from Public Enemy, all of them, they're like, we ain't making no money from Spotify. That's why Chuck D started his own thing now, which I'm trying to get involved with. He's got his own platform. He put money behind it, and it's a place where musicians can go. I forgot the name of it. Mark, look it up real quick before the end of the show. But he and I joined it. I was like, yeah, this sounds good, because he understands that. But we thank everybody, George DeFunkovici and everybody else that will comment from all around the world. We appreciate you, man. I like her song called, I'm sorry. We didn't get this comment up. I like her song called I Remember. Yeah, it was Gary. Yeah, that's what's up.
Oh, but by the way, I found it was a new app. It came out last year, like a couple of years ago. In his Public Enemy, Chuck D has announced a new app called Bring the Noise. So that's
Bring the Noise.
Bring the noise and everything like that. So definitely there are things that are like that are out there and everything. And even if you're into sports and everything, I want to say that Fanside is Black owned as well and everything. So there are things that we can do to support ourselves and not have to depend on the other ones that are out there that are owned by other.
It's about time. Yep. About time. Yeah, but Bring the Noise. I like that. I was like, yeah, that's because Public Enemy, they're my boys. I love what they do. So we're gonna get out of here. You guys have been a great audience. Linda, we're gonna give you the full screen. And then Mark, run back flag on the funk. We throwing a flag on the funk today. So, we want all the independent artists to shine and grind and do all that good stuff. We want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Hey, everybody, just before we close, I'd like to give everybody a little information that might be helpful down the road. When you're negotiating for yourself, you want to make sure you have a good crew around you, people that believe and are trustworthy as well. You want to make sure that you're in control of your money. You're the one writing the checks, not letting someone else take control of your income or your finances. You want to make sure that when you're negotiating, you got all your ducks in a row. You know what you want. You know how to get it. And if they're not listening, there's always someone else down the road. I wish everybody who's fledgling artists the best of luck. Hope to hear your music on the radio real soon. Peace and much love.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Linda. As always, you're my big sister, and I love you for that. And I'll be in touch with you real soon. We're going to hang out and get some music done one day by hook or crook. Because I got to get you on some of my stuff. It's like, you're next. You're the obvious next one. So, and like I said, out of respect for you, my band, we don't do Red Hot Mama until we can do it with you. All right? That's the deal. High five on that as a deal. I got you. I love you, man.
Love you back.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, dokie. Bye-bye. See you, Mark.
Love all you guys out there, man. You've been great. Yo, Mark, pump that tune up.
Penalty on the phone. 15 yards for faking the phone.
Man, why you throw the flag?
15 yards for faking the phone.
Say what? It's the funk. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants.
You better switch your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better switch your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone.
There's a penalty if you don't shake that ass.
We're gonna put you on blast, brother, and if you don't shake that ass,
There's a penalty on the funk if you don't shake that rump.
causing the earth to shake, rattle, and roll to the sound of the nappy bump.
There's a penalty. You know we gotta step on the gas.
And if you can't get with this beat, I'm gonna put you on blast. And if you can't get with this beat, I'm gonna put you on blast.
Yo, what's this fun Chromacon thing we talking about? I don't know, man. That's a whole other thing. Everybody in the house say yeah.
It's the funk. Chromacon, variants. It's the funk. Chromacon, variants.
You better swing your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better swing your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone.
We're coming from the nappy land. Flag on the funk is not the plan. So let us play it loud for the new funk radio crowd. Stop throwing the flag on the funk and let me shake my rump. Squeeze me, tease me, and never let me go. I'm throwing the flag on the funk. That's a nappy funk coming show.
We ain't never gonna stop. 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 You better switch your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone. You better switch your deadbeat back to the two-pump drum and hang your head, cause I'm throwing out this flag on the phone.